To further unpack this, let's welcome Lindani Matiwane, who's the National School Nutrition Program KZN Provincial Chairperson. Lindani, thank you so much for your time today. So worrying, of course, the concern that food deliveries to some schools could be affected. We saw recently how bad and large the effect that this actually had on those children who solely rely on the scheme as the only primary food source due to their socio-economic background. So tell us, what is your current position on this matter? And what are some of the plans to try and remedy the situation?
Thank you for welcoming me. Seriously, it is a disappointing situation currently that we are faced with. We know how important the program it is to the beneficiaries, which are the learners. And what we are facing with right now, it's something that is unthinkable, but it's a pity we can't even be able to negotiate or talk to the Department of Education, because whenever we are trying to engage with them, they are actually not responding. But right now, we are faced with a situation of the fact that we do not have funds to be able to go and buy on Monday and deliver. So we are not sure what is going to transpire as we speak.
Mm-hmm. And then, as you said, you're not getting any headway when you try and speak to the Department of Basic Education. So which other relevant authorities are you trying to go with and try to see if you can actually reach a consensus or understanding in order to try and, of course, not come to that sad reality of come Monday, those kids will not have food in their stomachs during learning hours?
We are not sure whether we have got to speak to the national minister, because we have sent our concern to our provincial legislature as it is as well. So, but we haven't been able to get some sort of assistance. Mm-hmm. We have been told today, whenever we are engaging with the Department of Education workers, that there was a run last night, which will be paying on Tuesday. But the issue is on Monday, learners need food to be delivered as well. But we do not know how are we going to be able to buy food on Monday to deliver to schools. Mm-hmm. And what is a pity, the situation, it seems as if it's a situation that has been intentionally and deliberately made, because we shouldn't be talking about the issue of the lack of payments, because the national government pays a 3 months in advance payment to our provincial treasury. So there shouldn't be issues of monies. You know, I'm not sure what are they trying to achieve by doing this.
Look, Lindani, maybe let's expand on that issue around payments as well as monies. What exactly are you hearing as some of the core as well as critical reasons as to why there is, of course, a delay in making these payments?
They will tell us that there are no funds. And that is not easy for me to believe, because like I've told you just now, that I know for a fact the program is a grant program, national grant program. The national government gives our provincial government a 3 months payment in advance. So we shouldn't have issues about payments, in fact. But I'm not sure whether do we need someone from above to come into our province and investigate exactly what seems to be transpiring about the lack of payments. Mm-hmm. And furthermore, during the inception of the program, we signed an SLA. It is stated there that as the suppliers, we need to deliver to schools for a whole month. And month end, we submit the claims, but buy for the second month as well, and feed for another month up until it comes to an end, and you do the same process up until it's the third month, yet we haven't been paid for the first month. So it's quite a situation that is actually not okay for us to be able to perform our duties up to the best of our ability.
And Lindani, I mean, when did you start raising your grievances with, of course, the relevant authorities? And what was their response at that particular time? Because I suppose it can't have been just yesterday at the realization that, of course, the kids might not have access to nutrition come Monday.
We started having issues since the inception of the program, because the current program, it's a new contract, a 3-year new contract, which was established in April last year. And since then, we've been having issues. But at some point this year, we managed to talk to the previous MEC, which was Ms. Mbali Fraser, where we were able to engage and discuss and raise our issues and concerns. And unfortunately for us, most of what we discussed was new to her. And indeed, she tried her best to solve some of our issues. For instance, the fact that they were not going to allocate all the learners at school to be able to be fed. She did help us on that, and they were saying they are not going to raise the allocation, and she helped us on that as well. But some of the issues weren't attended to. And we continued in May. We had an engagement just before elections, and the HOD promised to come back to us with solutions, but they haven't responded. We even submitted an MOU, which was not responded to, let alone the emails, letters and everything, every means of communication that we've tried. Remember, at some point here in KwaZulu-Natal, we had a situation in Tongati. I personally called the HOD. We wanted to help and contribute to schools that were affected, the learners. They said they were going to come back to us and give us a relevant person who was going to engage with us in terms of how are we going to help. Up until then, we haven't spoken to. So they've decided to take the route of not responding to us.
And a very quick one, Lindani, in closing, I mean, maybe just give us a number of how many schools could be affected, of course, if they do not get the necessary as well as critical funding but before, I suppose, end of business today.
We've got about 6,000 schools that we are talking about. So you can imagine how big it is.
Thank you so much.
KZN, I believe it's the biggest province when it comes to education in our country.
Lindani, thank you so much. We're going to try and, of course, keep track of the story and get in touch with you, and also just try and ascertain, of course, where the miscommunication has been, and, of course, try and get word from the Department of Basic Education as well in regards to this. Mr. Lindani Matiwane, the National School Nutrition Program, KZN Provincial Chairperson.